Hello and welcome! The circus has come to town and we're being visited by everyone's favorite flying elephant, Dumbo, today. Dumbo was released in 1941. This film is extremely short. It's only 64-minute running time. So it's very similar to a normal TV episode. Easy to get through it. And the plot is very simple. It's about a circus and Dumbo is a little baby elephant that's born but has ginormous ears, which everyone makes fun of him for. But as we later learn on, those ears help him fly, and then suddenly he is the star of the show. The morals are more important, I feel like, compared to the plot line, that it's more focused on don't judge people and make sure to give everyone a chance, accepting everyone, things like that. The only problem is we have the circus workers that don't even have faces. I don't know if this was underlining racism or if it was just lazy drawing, but it does seem very suspicious that they don't have any faces, and yet the audience that is filled with white people do have faces. That was more concerning to me than the crows. The crows, we understand, were a huge stereotypical version back then and kind of were taken off of Jim Crow laws.
Did you ever see an elephant fly?
Well, I seen a horse fly.
I seen a dragon fly.
I seen a house fly.
But it wasn't as weird to me as the no-face circus workers were. That's a lot more cringeworthy to look back at and uncomfortable to look at compared to the stereotypical crows.
But I be done seen about everything when I see an elephant fly. I saw a clothes horse, a raven buck,
And they tell me that a man made a vegetable truck.
It's something you had to just accept that this was a time back then. Dumbo's sidekick, Timothy Mouse, had that typical New York accent, and it's really sad that it reminded me too much of Harley Quinn.
Oh, I'll show you some moves, B-Man. Just sit still.
Their voices are too similar now, and it took away. I kept imagining Harley Quinn as the mouse for some reason, even though their personalities and character are nothing alike. It literally came down to the accents.
Dumbo, look what I got for you. You gotta come out first.
That they talk like this, and everything is all about the New York accent and very stereotypical gangsta. What are we talking about here? I'm from New York. I can't be making fun of my own place. Because Dumbo couldn't be accepted by the elephants, he got transported with the clowns, which everyone hates. But my question is, if everyone hates clowns, if they're so stereotypically hated universally, why are they so popular and why are there so many of them? Who keeps breeding? Who keeps populating clowns? They're everywhere. And yet we still have more and more media that shows them in such a negative light.
Y'all don't wanna hear me, you just wanna dance.
If something isn't knocking them dead, one laugh will get out the lead. Happy smiles turn to screams, 'cause this lady is more than she seems. When she becomes a duo, folks are quick to rebuff. She really can't explain it, she's just strutting her stuff. But since she's in this circus, they just can't get enough. Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh.
Later on, we also have the very experimental avant-garde animation of pink elephants on parade after Dumbo and Timothy end up drinking some infused water with probably some type of alcohol. And they just go on this huge acid trip with elephants. And as I'm watching this is complete nightmare fuel.
Look out, pink elephants on parade, here they come, hippity-hoppity, they're here, and there are pink elephants everywhere.
Scenes like this, it's nightmare fuel. And at the same time, it's also very, very, very similar to Pooh's Humphalumps and all their scenes. So I wonder if this was inspiration from Dumbo for the Humphalumps.
They're green, they're blue, they're pink, they're white, they're round, they're square. They're a terrible sight. They tie themselves in horrible knots. They come in stripes or polka dots. Beware, 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 beware.
Because it's only an hour and 4 minutes long, the ending did seem very rushed. That all of a sudden, bam, he's a star. Story's over. We're done. That's it. Pack up and leave. Let's go to the next town. And it was just a gigantic build up until that. So it was very rushed to me, and I kind of lost some enjoyment out of it. Although looking through it, it really is a weird story to tell, and it's a lot more dark and negative in majority of the scenes. That this elephant, because he has a birth difference of gigantic ears, is shamed by his home community, but yet they're fickle when he's able to use them in a beneficial light, then everything is okay and he is great with the crowd and he's the #1 person. But I mean, it is a very true statement about society as sad as it is, which we've seen over and over again, but seeing it as a children's cartoon is always a little bit weird because these are a lot more darker and they seem too realistic at times. And today's Disney is a lot different. It's a lot more politically correct, and you wouldn't see stories like this with as many nightmare imagery and serious information. So I'm glad that it's here. It's just very different from what we've had, and it's unique to see the progression that we've made. I do really love the atmosphere of the circus, I really do. But when it comes to circus animal stories, that's not my favorite part about it. I like the aesthetic of it and the way it's very stage-like. Kind of how Moulin Rouge is. Moulin Rouge isn't necessarily a circus, but it has that atmosphere of one, and it's that late Victorian era that I really admire. So the ringmaster vibe and all that, that's what I really like. So that's probably why I'm more attached to the idea of the circus, because it's remnants of that. Tomorrow we're going to continue with some very depressing movies. We're going to be watching Bambi, another Disney classic that everyone cries over. So stay tuned, and as always, I hope you have a magical day, and I will see you real soon.